Well, good evening and welcome to the Canaway Nation Hangout for this evening. It's Friday, March, what are we at? March 21st today, so it's an exciting night tonight. Our guest night is an unusual night. We normally have quite a few people on our Hangouts, so one thing that's really cool is when we can take one person and take the success that they've created and sort of emulate that across Canaway Nation. And we have a very special guest with us tonight. We're going to be talking with my good friend and a great builder inside Canaway, named Josh Dalzell, and he'll be telling you a little bit about some of his successes. And before we get into that, though, I want to give kind of a little bit of an overview about what Canaway is, and if this is your first time joining one of our Hangouts, you're going to get a lot of great information on how to start out with Canaway and what the products are, the kind of experiences people have been having with them. You're also going to see that there's a real reason that 39,000, a little more than 39,000 people have joined Canaway Nation in less than 30 days. It's been crazy, the amount of people that have really been drawn to this program. And we've been really finding it's been harmonizing with a lot of folks who felt a little bit lost in network marketing. If you've worked with the network marketing program before, or if you haven't, either way is fine. But if you have before, a lot of folks are finding they're a little burned out on trying to describe exactly why this weight loss product is different than the thousands of others that are out there and that sort of thing. That particular problem isn't an issue here at Canaway, because if you've heard about Canaway before, you know the focus of this company is CBD-enriched hemp oil, which is our primary product that goes into all the things that we create here at Canaway. Now, right now, we have two products that you're going to find out about, and of course, one of those is our anti-aging skincare salve, which is actually a really fantastic product infused with this enriched CBD hemp oil that you'll find out more about as we get into our discussion tonight. And then, of course, our lifestyle series product is a hemp vaporizer that we call Hemp Vape. And that particular product contains CBD-enriched hemp oil that you can inhale on a daily basis. And instead of working with tobacco or something along those lines, it's actually something that's very good for you. One of the things that comes across a lot of people's minds when they're looking at Canaway, they ask the question, how can this possibly be legal? Because their minds immediately go to the M word. Josh, you're on mute, so I'm gonna have you hop off mute real quick.
Sure.
What's the M word that everybody's minds go to with this?
Money.
The other M word.
I'm kidding, Seth. I'm kidding.
Well done. So you know what I'm talking about when we're talking about a hemp program.
Well,
most people think that we are some people think before they know more about hemp and what it is, they think about the M word.
Go ahead, Seth. What is it?
Marijuana.
Okay, there's a few that I was thinking of. There's a movement. There's marijuana. There's a lot of M words. I'm sorry, I just wasn't.
No problem. No problem at all. And so essentially,
Seth, when I first started, that's what a friend of mine had asked me: is what am I, some sort of internet weed dealer?
There you go. See, and that's what we want to get people's thoughts away from. So we want to help you realize and understand what this program is, and to understand the positivity behind this program, why it's legal in all 50 states, how we can possibly ship to every single state in the United States and not have any issues. Want to thank those of you who have joined on early, by the way. We already have 133 viewers. We're 4 minutes in. Those numbers usually jump to around 300 viewers as we start to move forward, so thank you very much for joining us early. And if you're just coming on, been talking a little bit about what Canaway is as a program, we're going to introduce you to our very special guest this evening, Josh Dalzell, who has built an absolutely awesome team within Canaway, and he's done it in such a short period of time. A lot of people are seeing a lot of success with Canaway, and people that have never experienced success in network marketing are experiencing it here. So let's go ahead and kick it off, Josh. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about some of your success within Canaway and find out how is it you've been creating some of that success. Now, to my knowledge, we talked yesterday, and as I recall, I think you said you had something in the range of about 20, 25 personal enrollments. Is that correct?
Yeah, if in my back office right now, Seth, there's 23 people, and I have another probably 200 I could sign up right now.
What's holding you back on bringing those in out of curiosity? Because I'm sure someone out there is thinking to themselves, well, if you have 200 people, why aren't you bringing in 200 people? Please let me know what your strategy is with how you're building your group.
Sure. It all comes to the compensation plan. I think I have at least a decent or good understanding of it. The Buzz Launch, this Buzz Launch compensation plan, the thing that's most important from what I could tell is to get inside that top tier range, which is at 34 plus reps or customers, you'll get inside that top 12. And so that's fine, except that what I saw there, it said 34 plus. It didn't say 100 plus or 200 plus. It seems like I only needed 34. And so instead of building 200 for myself very quickly, what I did is I went out and found some great leaders for the team and taught them how to go out and get 34 quickly as well, so that they could, again, turn that down. And that has been our main focus since we started, was to get the 34 to launch at the top.
So your focus has been on creating leadership groups within your team instead of just going out and personally going 200 people wide. You're wanting to create leaders that can build 20, 30, 40 individual sponsorships, and then are you helping them to do the same thing you're doing, helping them to teach their groups to build out as well?
Sure, that's the big D word. That's the word I live for, duplication. And that's the big key of this. Look, I'll tell you a quick story, Seth. When I first got involved, I called a few people. I called my mom, my sister, my best friend, all these people that are real close to me, have been for 20 years or more. Obviously, my parents, my mom, she's known me 36. And so, so what I did is I talked to these people, and they all looked at it. I told them to dig into it to see if I was making a mistake or not, and they ended up joining me instead. So the top people that I signed were just the people that were real close to me that I had trusted. So my sister Shannon, for an example, she very quickly went to double-digit enrollments, and she very quickly put someone on underneath her that went to double-digit enrollments. And so, yes, it works very well. It works very quickly. I have multiple people in my line who have doubles below them, and some of them even have a triple number below them. That triple number is where I wanted to talk about. That's what got us started on this, Seth. I can't keep up with 200 people. I just can't. So it does me no good to put on 200 people quickly. It doesn't. I can only just work with 6 people at a time, if that makes sense, or 3, you know what I mean? Shannon, my mom, and one other person or whatever, I got them to be leaders because I had to field all the calls from everybody, and now that I've been able to train down and train down and train down, the sponsors know what they're doing in my organization, so all those calls don't need to come to me. They can actually be answered by their sponsors like it's supposed to be, and that's been holding everyone accountable and giving everyone a sense of worth, and just the fact that every single person has the ability to do this, and it's proven. It's proven. It's not a myth. It's proven.
Have you been building mostly over the phone? Have you been calling folks up and telling them about it, or have you been utilizing the product in public, or what's been mostly your strategy in building this?
When Ryan Conley, my sponsor and very good friend of mine, you know who Ryan is, when he called me, early in, must have been February 18th or 20th or something. I don't know the real date, but it was late February. He said that we were going to explore this thing and asked if I was interested. I said, of course. And then from there, I didn't have products, Seth. Please, we just got our products just the other day like everybody else. I went out there, I told people about the opportunity. I told them what was going on, told them the difference between CBD and THC, let them research it for themselves. When they came back to me, it was already built. They had the information needed to say, are you kidding me? And the rest is kind of... Yeah, it's phone calls. I do all my stuff by phone calls. There was a time where when I originally was trying to figure this out, I can't train it unless I can do it. And so I sat down and I made all my phone calls to everybody that I know, and I got 50 people who wanted to sign up, and 34 of those, which is the magic number, I did in 1 hour.
Wow, that's incredible. It's interesting too. You mentioned that you just got your product, and I want to address that because actually we had a very interesting Google Hangout a little earlier today. It was sort of a last-minute one, so if you missed it, it's okay. It is recorded, and it's up on our corporate Facebook page. Christopher Hussey had what he called a State of the Nation hangout for everybody, and he addressed some of the things that have been coming up. One of the things that's been brought up repeatedly by a lot of folks is I ordered my product 10, 12 days ago, and it hasn't arrived yet, or maybe it just arrived, or something along those lines. And I just want to make it clear, and I'm sure you'll agree with me, Josh, we're in pre-launch phase here for a company that's put in a little over 39,000 people in less than 30 days. There's obviously going to be growing pains. However, I will say this. I've worked with a lot of different companies, a lot of different corporations that have been in the startup phase, and I have never seen a company bring every piece into place the way that this company has. And even if there's a tiny bit of a delay on your shipping, it's getting there, and it's getting there in every single case. And nobody has reported that they're absolutely not getting their shipment or something along those lines. And in a few cases where there's been some issues, support has really stepped up to the plate and swung away. How have you felt about your experience as far as the startup phase of a company that's brought in probably, I would say, what most people would say is probably a lot more than most expected in the first 30 days. How do you feel about your experience with this so far, Josh?
I've been involved in many sales organizations. This launch, I understand it, which helps a lot. Has been immaculate to me. I mean, Facebook from the first day, threads, individual threads with questions, and Sugar and Chris and Amy, who's been keeping up with that, is answering best questions as best as they can. Here's the thing: the people who are aggravated with the launch of this actually are people who just don't have the information. It grew so fast that some people just couldn't get the information access quick enough. And so that's okay, but the information's out there to access inside those groups and stuff, the frequently asked questions and the compensation plan questions. These aren't myths. They're just right there in the group. Just get with your sponsor or whatever and get involved with the information. It really is there for people. Don't stress out. It's out there for you. You can be caught up very quickly just by getting the information.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. I think it's been an incredible launch myself with everything that's kind of come together so quickly, so fast. There's been a few people that have mentioned that maybe their sponsor isn't responding quickly enough to questions, or even their sponsor's sponsor. What would be your suggestion then specifically for those folks to do? Obviously, it's not just, forget this, I'll find somebody else to work with. It's what would be the suggestion for some folks like that? What kind of resources are in place from the corporate side to be able to help those folks out?
I mean, it's even bigger than that, Seth. Anybody in Canaway Nation that's a leader you can reach out to somebody inside these groups. I know I've seen so many people respond with great information. What I would recommend. Sometimes the sponsor just doesn't have the information themselves. They were excited or whatever and got they just don't have the information. They're searching for it still. Search upline, you guys. Search upline. Search those groups. There are lots of people with information. There's no reason to get impatient or anything. We're all here to help. It's just that we put on 36,000 people in this great opportunity very quickly, and we know we're all excited.
Yep.
Seek upline. Yeah, seek upline. That Canaway official group. Get added to that. If your sponsor's not a part of it, just find somebody who is, friend them, they'll get you involved. Even if it's me, just ask me, I'll just friend me, I'll add to the group, doesn't matter, whatever, anybody. That's where the information is, inside those groups.
Yeah, and actually you said 36,000, we'll turn that 6 upside down, we're at 39,000, which is great. And Josh mentioned something that I think is really crucial. On a couple of different Hangouts, I've heard a couple of different team names thrown out and that sort of thing. But really, don't you feel like it's been a synergy of one team here in Canaway? It's really Canaway Nation. You hear us throw that term around a lot, and we say that a lot. How have you felt as you've worked? I know that you've worked with folks that are nowhere near your direct enrollment line that have called you for help, that you've called for help. How has that experience been for you in working with people that might not be any part of what might end up being your direct income line, so to speak? You've done that.
No, none of that matters. I'm a pay it forward kind of guy, not a pay it back kind of guy, so I definitely don't mind helping. Here's what I found. The people who I work with on a daily basis, the leaders of this company, and some of them, of course, Eric and Ryan and Alvin and Ray. I mean, these guys are good. These guys are good, man. I mean, they've been around the block. They've been through multiple different multi-level companies. Ryan Conley, I mean, these guys know what they are talking about.
George Randy, Robin, Money, you name it. There's
those are, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm blown away by the people I know, And so I've never been necessarily in multi-level marketing. My experience was a couple failed ventures in multi-level marketing. I've never had success in it, but I've always wanted to. Without name dropping doesn't matter, but what I found was that I got in late. The market was saturated. I didn't have the time or effort, didn't have the resources. Whatever, it just never was right, but I learned a lot from it. Those leaders of this company and Canaway itself, it's like I said, it's a can of family. When people have reached out to me to help me out as much as they have, believe me, I'm not going to turn someone else away, and a lot of the other people here won't either. We'd love to get your sponsor trained. Who are they?
Yeah, exactly. That's a great way to put it, and I think it's been a great experience. That's a big part of what Canaway was built on, was the idea of helping others. And so kind of switching onto a different set of train tracks here. I want to talk to you a little bit about the product and kind of the impact that it's had for you personally in your life. And obviously, on these Google Hangouts, we don't really get into making medical claims, but we do want to hear about experiences and your thoughts. And one thing, obviously, we bring this up on almost every single Hangout, but I want to bring it up again. For those of you who are on for the first time, or for those of you who have been here a million times, you want to go and check out your research at a website called My CBD Research. That's Charlie, Billy, Daniel Research. So mycbdresearch.com. And when you do that, you're going to find out some incredible things. Now, we're not going to talk about what you'll find here because that's a third-party resource, and that sort of validates what you are going to see around the CBD movement we've created here. However, Josh, in your experience, I know you've gone through a lot of different challenges and that sort of thing. Why don't you tell us about some of those and tell us a little bit about what your research led you to before you found out about Canaway, what you were looking at and the different things that you had discovered yourself.
Sure. I'll actually back up a little bit. One of the sales jobs that I made the most amount of money at in my life, I was a sales manager for a company called True Green. And they were just a lawn and landscape company who was dealt with agriculture and horticulture, residential problems. I'm not getting too into it, but it did teach me about plants. It taught me a tremendous amount about plants and insect and identification and stuff. And none of that can be taught, of course, but later on that turned out to be crucial in my life. It just made me understand plants in general, what NP and K was, what phosphorus does for plants, what chlorophyll was, just all these things about plants. And so what happened, I'm not shy at all, Seth, and so I was a heavy drinker in my younger days. When I was 21 years old, I drank myself literally into the hospital. I've talked about that a little bit with a bad pancreas. I've had kidney dialysis and everything. I mean, real sick guy, but I live real healthy now. My doctor said I can't have alcohol, which as a 21-year-old guy crushed me. And turns out it was the best decision ever. So in Seattle, where I'm from, they have a completely different set of medical marijuana guidelines. Colorado and Washington have been in the forefront, along with California and everybody else, for a long, long time. They've had laws there for medical patients since 1998. And so this isn't something new. In some parts of the country it is, some parts it really isn't. So what happened was back then, in 1998, everything changed. For patients, true patients, they could get a recommendation from a doctor. It wasn't a prescription. It was a recommendation that marijuana may or may not help them with their illnesses. Back then, there wasn't a whole lot of science involved. There just wasn't. It was just whether it may or may not help, we'll try. And so whether it works or not, I mean, for me, it did. It's something that has helped me a lot. I know a lot of other people feel the same way. What I didn't understand until recently is what you were just talking about, the difference between CBD and THC. I thought cannabis was marijuana, man. I really did. I didn't understand that, a hemp plant is different than like a marijuana plant. They're cousins. One's an apple, one's an orange. They both taste good and do different things for you. And I started learning all this stuff, and I went, wow, CBD is actually what makes you healthy. So, for people, I'm going to give an example. My mom. She does not smoke, period, never has, but she understands that CBD is beneficial to her health, and so she's not afraid to try it, you know what I mean? And so people like that who would never, ever be okay with getting high, ever, no, but they're willing to do this because it's naturally produced in the body already. So, I don't know, it's just so amazing to be able to turn people into this plant. It's a plant. It was made in the earth. It's so great, and I just love it,
It is really interesting to see the differences and understand what a crucial difference that is. I think it's been an educational road for a lot of us, because myself included, I live in Colorado, and you used to live in Seattle. So we both have lived in areas where marijuana was the focus, and THC in particular. But actually, it's quite interesting. Having been around Colorado, I actually had the opportunity to speak with a good friend of mine, and she deals a lot with patients that come into a dispensary. And she had a lady coming in and asking her specifically, do you have a product that is almost 100% CBD? Because what she had found was her focus, she wanted to take care of some issues. And without getting into the medical claim side of things, once again, I won't get into what those issues were, but they were being helped by the plant. And she specifically said, I want to be able to manage what I'm dealing with without losing my mind. And I think that's a good way to put it. What we've been saying around here, and I think this is a good catchphrase to keep in mind, is that CBD is what gets you healthy, THC is what gets you high. Now, we're not trying to demonize THC. That's not the point of this. What we are saying is that there are some serious proven medical facts, and what we're starting to see is that the acceptance of this is growing and growing. Now, speaking of acceptance, Josh, I'd like to know if you've encountered any of this yourself, and I don't even know the answer to this question, so please forgive me if I'm asking a question that you don't have the answer to. But I myself have heard from a lot of folks who are heavily involved in some sort of religious group or belief system or whatever it might happen to be, that initially when you approach them with this program are 100% against it. And that's because, you know, they have a set of beliefs that they want to stick to and they want to hold to, and they want to prove themselves to be the godly folk that they choose to be, which is great. Now, have you had any kind of response from those folks? And generally speaking, what's been your experience in helping educate them about why this isn't the product that they probably think it is when you first approach them with this particular product?
Sure. I have a ton of experience with that, actually. The very first thing I would say is just be nice. Approach nicely. You're talking about something that they thought has been taboo for a long time. And so just make sure that, you know, you're not getting pushy about your new thing or whatever. As far as what I've done is I've just naturally acclimated myself to it. When they see me with my hemp vape, when they see me with my salve, when they see me with those things, they look at it. I can see them looking at it. And so that helps. And then they say, what is that? And I say, yeah, it's just this, that, and the other. When they ask me, it opens up their curiosity. And that helps a tremendous amount with those people. Don't push it on them. If they're curious, they'll talk to you. You'll find the ones who are curious. As far as the Bible itself, I'm definitely not going to translate the Bible, and I believe, honestly, and this is where we get into political and religious stuff. I try to stay as much away from that as possible, but yeah. I believe everyone has a right to believe whatever they want, and I would only speak for myself. I would never, ever chastise someone for what they believe, but for me, I do believe in Christian lines, and so the people that I'm generally around are Christian people. And so, as far as for me, I can tell you a couple verses right there in the Bible where it talks about the plan of God. And so, I mean, you know, if they want to really, I can point right to it where it talks about the herbs that bear seeds are good for us. You know, and what else can you say? I mean, you know, call God as a witness. I'm kidding.
Well, it's interesting, isn't it, that this Canaway Nation movement, this movement with a pay plan, as Christopher Hussey so wonderfully put it, that a lot of us have really embraced that statement. It's a movement with a pay plan. We're in a situation where, and I don't know if I've ever really seen this before in a network marketing program, where we're really drawing in people from all types of areas. You know, we've got folks that were really big or are really big in marijuana activism, folks that have been big believers in that side of things for a very long time. We got folks that were super ultra religious, that are super ultra religious, who have embraced this and understand now the effects of the products, understand that they're not putting their belief system at risk by being a part of this movement. We have folks who are here simply for the health benefits and understand the health side of CBD. We have other folks that are really in it to build an income, and they could really, they may or may not feel like the product is their focus. They really are here just to build an income. We have folks that are kind of bringing all those things together. You know, they're activists who are very religious, who want to build an income and believe in the health benefits of CBD.
Those are perfect, by the way. Can we have 1,000 of those?
If I had like 100 billion more hands, I could really bring this thing all together. But it's really interesting to see that, because what's interesting too is that as these cross cultures have really come together and started to become one family, everybody promotes a little bit differently. Everybody has a different way of approaching folks. Some people are really leveraging things like Facebook and talking a lot about the product and talking a lot about the compensation plan or whatever their choice is for their channel. And as we had talked about before, Josh, we talked about creating an identity for yourself and having that, I guess you might call it branding yourself, essentially. How have you felt that? Have you seen some of your folks really kind of brand themselves in their message and be able to draw similar like-minded folks with them into this business and be able to execute that well?
Of course. Yeah, I mean, I have a bunch of written material, which is obviously just for me, and it's things that I've tried to keep accomplished in my mind throughout all of this. Fact is that my organization and myself, the people I surround myself with, are amazing people, and I know that. If we get a chance to do good for others, I mean, if God, again, blessed us with the chance to do good for others, we'd sure like a chance to do that. And so that's just like-minded people. You know, a friend of mine told me a long time ago, he said, if you show me who your friends are, I'll show you where you're headed. And I like that, man. I always like that. And I've surrounded myself with great people, great leaders, people who do good for others. And that vibe just carries on, you know, it just does. You know, one man's voice is only so powerful, but if you could put a microphone on it and then have other people with microphones saying the same things, you can voice out forever. And that's duplication. That's all that is. You know, I can't speak to everyone, but I can surely speak to them and have them speak to others. It's so amazing. This business, like you said, I'm a cannabis activist. I have been in Seattle for a long time. I'm also a sales guy and a dad and health nut and martial artist. Yeah, and I love this, and I am that guy. That's what I think why I'm doing so well. If anybody does not believe in CBDs or does not understand them, a friend of mine back home, without making medical claims, he just goes to a doctor and that doctor prescribes him CBD pills for his ailment, and he will tell you that it's helping, but he is prescribed CBD pills. And so now that this has come around, uh, he's able to save a ton of money on some of those prescriptions. Now, like I said, I'm not going to get crazy on it, but he's a personal friend of mine, so I'm glad that he's been able to be helped by this movement like this.
Yeah, it's been interesting, and I feel the same way as you do, that we're surrounding ourselves with a team full, and when I say team, I mean all of Canaway Nation. We have a team full of successful people who are like-minded. Whether or not they have the same exact belief system, we're coming together on a movement with a pay plan that we all are throwing our weight behind. And I've seen you do that, and specifically, I'm thankful to have you in my life now, Josh, because we really didn't meet until this program, and without this program, we wouldn't have had the opportunity to meet, I don't think, because, we're kind of in different worlds. I've kind of done a lot of internet marketing, and when I talked about kind of the different groups coming into this, when I look at a program, my focus, generally speaking, has been building a business, and that's not necessarily I'm not saying that's the best way to do it. It's been my focus, certainly. For a lot of folks out there, they build their business because they specifically believe only in the product itself. And I think that it's been really incredible to see all this synergy and all these wonderful people coming together and finding that they have a lot more in common in many cases than we even thought we would. So moving forward now, you've built this strong group already, and you said you can and likely will be dropping in another couple hundred enrollments here in the next couple of weeks, months, whatever it might happen to be. And as we move forward here, what phases do you foresee in group growth to be able to help people? So right now, when you got to your specified amount, you said, okay, I'm going to quit personally enrolling for now, and I'm going to work with my group. And then you're going to help them do the same with their group. And then when those people, that'll bleed down, hopefully, and the leadership will trickle down. How do you see things moving forward in phases for you as you grow and grow in your leadership within Canaway?
There's two schools of thought here. Again, so just to back up, I actually have never been on internet marketing. I didn't know how to use Facebook barely until I got into this. So don't think I'm some sort of master pro. I'm learning from you guys on how to do some of the internet part of this. And as far as there's two ways to do this. One of them, you could go out and enroll a bunch of people. If you have the time to personally do that, feel free. Make sure and work with them, though. Don't leave them in the past, or they're just going to think this is some sort of other MLM company that just forgot about them. And that's the worst thing in the world, man. It is. If you got the time to do it, go do it. You're going to find some absolute rock star leaders in those people. You're going to happen upon them because they were searching for an opportunity. There's nothing wrong with that. I get it. But, again, I speak for myself. I wanted to make sure the people around me had the tools and equipment to make sure they were successful. I don't want anyone in my organization to drop out. I want them to understand this really well. Set up a command center. That's the next step for me. And it's been, I'll tell you a story, Seth. I'm not sure about your guys' timeline. I got to tell you a quick story.
We got plenty of time. I want to hear it. That's great.
Man. All right, check this out. I've never told you this story. When I started this, this right in my back office, it still says it February 28th as a reminder. Okay, I thought we were done with this on February 28th, March 1st, so I thought, my God, me and my whole organization need 34 people on our front lines by March 1st. And so we all, I mean, you have no idea, went to work. I mean, went to work. I mean, and we had to get this thing figured out. In protest of like government or whatever, doesn't matter, but in a protest, like I mentioned this before, you have one person standing in the center. If there's 1,000 people around you, they just can't hear your voice. And so when you say it, they say it behind you. So we are going, and then the whole crowd will say, we are going, and the people at the back, as long as people keep saying it and trickling it down, wait a minute, that's duplication. Okay, I got it. As long as they duplicate that voice all the way to the back, the people in the back can actually hear that one man's voice. And so it's setting up those command centers to make sure that you have your voice being heard throughout. And I don't mean your voice is like a ruler, but as a leader, if you're a true leader and you have great information, don't just sit back with it. That's not right. Get that information out to people and let them be successful. So for me, I could sit here at my house, Seth, and this is the true story, with 24 hours to go. I had myself and 7 of my leaders, because I didn't have as many as I do now, believe me. I had 7 at that point. And I said, you guys, we have to reach out by phone. We're going to set up a command center across the entire nation. Here's what we're going to do. And they said, okay. And so I said, we are going. I'm just kidding. That's how they did the chant. We are going. So I said, we are going to go ahead and launch this thing at the very top for all of us. And I said, how are we going to do that? I said, well, I'm going to fill myself up real fast to 34. And then when I'm done with that, I'm going to go ahead and Shannon, as my example, my sister, I said, Shannon, then I'm going to work on your business with you. I'm going to take my reps numbers down. I'm going to put just your rep number out. Anybody who I'm going to sign up goes under you. And when you get to your 34, both of us are now going to start working on our 3rd person. By the time we get 3, 4, 5 of these people filled up, all of us, every single one of us is putting people down lines. And by the time we got to the bottom, we had hundreds of people selling from one person. And we really could have accomplished that in 24 hours. Now, the joke of it is you guys gave me another month.
Joke's on you, bro. Well, it's interesting.
I stopped immediately. I called an abort to the mission with 24 hours left and said, you guys, we've got a month. Go out there and learn this thing. Let's have some fun. Take the pressure off of it. And then we'll make a big sales push with a week to go. And so we're just sitting back. We've got all the command centers set up. Me and my people are sitting right here at the top ready to do this thing and drop these people if we need to. Once we start trickling down the lines, every single person who's involved in this strike, once that happens, they're going to be starting to sell for the next person down because they've been filled up by the people above them. I'll just trickle it right down there.
Awesome. That's beautiful. I think that one thing that's really crucial as you're starting to build a team is to take some responsibility to be the final source of information that's needed in any case, if you can. And then now, obviously, we've all got upline folks we can go to. And one of the things that I want to really encourage folks to think about is becoming the source for folks to go to. So if somebody you've enrolled has enrolled someone else and so on and so forth, and that starts to trickle down line, it's important to remember that there's going to come a question that, at some point in time, people need an answer to. And if you can be the source for that answer, then but then you train the people that you've brought in with you to do the same. So I've had some people call several times with the same question. Hey, what was the date for this or that? Or how many hours do you have to lock in after you've taken your free tour before you lose your power line spot, for instance? That one's come from a few people many times. So I'll answer the question. After the 2nd or 3rd time, I'll answer the question, and then I'll say this. Okay, I'm happy to answer your questions. Once you have an answer, your job now is to become the source for that answer to the next people. So essentially, we call this becoming a mirror of your mentor. Your mentor teaches you how to become a leader yourself, and that's what makes a good mentor. Otherwise, you really can't be looked up to as a leader in any corporation, in any sales organization. And when you join with Canaway, the reason you're called, you have an IBO designation. You're an independent business owner now. So as a business owner, you need to be as educated as you possibly can. But more than that, you need then to teach the people that are enrolled with you to have that same mentality, to learn as much as they can, so that when a question comes to you that you can't answer, you go and find out the answer, and then you can come back and really knock it down. Have you been able to do that with your group, and what's been the results of the people that you've been working with personally, Josh? Have they been picking up your same vibe and starting to emulate that same leadership that you're showing? Tell me about some of the results you've had.
Yeah, anytime I train somebody, I can get a little short, Seth, and I'll apologize in public right now to everybody if I get short with you. I apologize. I'm not that way. I'm a nice guy, I swear.
I
But,
agree.
when I say I've got 10 minutes for you, I really do only really honestly have 10 minutes. I have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people I talk to every day. I set aside time anytime anybody asks me. It's not a problem. As far as me getting a little short, I apologize, but the information I'm just trying to get out. I'm just trying to information dump real fast so that you have it. And so what happens is when I train to my leaders, especially the people that know me the best, I can get a little short with, and they don't mind it. They know me. And so I say, look, guys, I'm not training you to learn. I'm training you to train. And so make sure you get out there and train. I'm not training you to learn. I'm going to pick on my buddy Steve. I love him to death. He can't listen tonight, so that's probably fine. He'd always say, dude, I get it, dude, I get it. I'd say, I'm not training you to learn. Stop saying that. Go out there and train somebody. You know what I mean? It's, write it down and train it. Write it down and train it. Just absorb it. I'm not yelling at you. Just train it, train it, train it. And I just keep drilling that concept. And now I don't have to because they train. And they're all all of them are very, very good at this. Any single person is in my organization that I've worked with personally as leaders and stuff like that. There's probably, honestly, 13 to 15 people right now that are absolute. Any one of them, you know what I'm saying, and it's invaluable. You just can't answer everybody's questions, but like you said, I can't believe you said that. That's so amazing. Be the knowledge point. Make sure that it doesn't have to go above you. That's so true. If you're the knowledge point, not only are you knowledgeable and credible, but man, think about how people look at you. You're an expert. When you have the information, you know it, and you know it right. You absolutely are just edifying yourself, just being an expert.
Well, I'd like to touch on something that Robin Mascari said, and I've actually mentioned this before. And she's been on our a lot of our Women of Canaway hangouts, and she's just an incredible leader. She's just, if you've seen her on camera, she's a beautiful lady. Always dresses great. Always has great things to say. Her and I were talking on the phone at one point in time, and she said, your real goal, and this comes from some of her training that she's had before as well. Your real goal is at first to be at the front of the room. So be on stage, be visible like you are right now, Josh, and like several other of our great leaders are. But your goal is to get to the back of the room as quickly as possible because you want other people, your own team, to shine up on stage. You want that. And then their goal, same thing. Be up on stage, get to the back of the room, lead the next group up there, because this is where you start to get that excitement and duplication. And let me just ask you straight up, Josh. How do you feel about being on and featured tonight as a good for instance?
It's I'm not nervous by any means because it's just you and I just sitting here, and I don't think about any of the rest of it. It's just a conversation between two of us, and that helps out a tremendous amount. We're just behind closed doors, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot stand being egotistical. I cannot stand tooting my own horn. It just goes against everything I've ever done. And so for me, I know for a fact I can't be here today without the people that were around me. I just can't. I just know that. And so, I'd love to have some of them highlighted. For me, I do want to be a leader in this company, Seth. I'm not going to lie. I want to put myself and set myself aside as a leader in this company, make sure people know that when they come to me, I know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to lead them astray. And that's the most important part for me to be on here. The people who are around me, they deserve so much credit. I can't give them enough, and that's the thing. I'm always going to pass it down. I don't need to be on these hangouts unless it's just to give information and help out, as long as it's not for my own, like egotistical reasons or whatever. I don't mind it. I'm not trying to be weird about it, but it's something I feel real hard about. I'm not trying to make a bunch of money in this. I don't care about money. I'm not motivated by that. But I am motivated about helping people who potentially couldn't help themselves. If I was rich, what's helping somebody out with like, what I'm saying? It shouldn't be an issue. I'm not trying to be weird or get political, of course, but I'm not doing this for myself. I'm doing this for everybody around me.
No, I think that's positive, actually, because one of the things, too, to remember about these hangouts, we have folks on that they're so afraid of being on camera. They're afraid of being in front of, we have 242 live viewers right now. Not to stress you out or anything, Josh.
Thanks, man.
Oh, man, everybody's watching you. But, there are a lot of people that absolutely hate the spotlight and that don't want to be up here. And we've even had some folks who can barely say a word off camera. They just don't. They're not conversational folks. You're not the case, obviously. I think you're awesome on camera. You're doing a great job. But it's more of a matter of big part of the reason why we choose some folks that may not really be drawn towards the limelight. We want to make it clear that you can be any kind of person you want and build a ridiculous business within Canaway. And then finding that focus and you're branding yourself like we talked about a little bit earlier is essential to your success. So if you're on this hangout and you're looking and you're thinking, man, Josh, the buttoned up, perfect, absolutely just perfect speaker, I can never be that guy. Keep in mind, Josh doesn't want to be here either.
No.
But he's doing it because he understands that this will be for the good of Canaway Nation. He's here to tell everybody how to build and how his organization has grown to ridiculous heights in such a short period of time. So I'm really thankful that you came on, Josh. We have another 20 minutes ahead of us. I'm not letting you go quite yet. But I'm thankful you came on, and I really respect and appreciate the fact that you kind of stepped outside your circle to make that happen.
A little point on that, I actually had a conversation with Amy the other day, otherwise I wouldn't have been on here, and I wanted to thank her for that. I told her, I said, I don't want this, I don't want to be on live and stuff, nothing, it just makes me feel weird, She just said, dude, it's not about that. You're a leader here, you're doing things right, and we need you to speak. If you're not going to step up and be a leader, then what are you doing? You should be, and I appreciated when she said that. I appreciated that a tremendous amount. I said, you're right, and so I don't mind coming on here because, I don't think she was lying. Yeah, I appreciate you saying that. That's what brought me here today,
There's no doubt about it. I mean, I've had enough experience with you to speak volumes about your efforts and what you've done. And really, from our very first conversation, I was just really hoping you would embrace this and run with it. And what you've shown me has blown me away. And truthfully, that's a story I can almost put that record on repeat, because I've seen person after person after person come into Canaway. I've probably heard 100 stories of people.
I've broken a record before. That's funny.
I think I've probably heard 100 stories of people who have come into Canaway that have never enrolled one person in any other program that now have multiple signups over here. Why would you say that they're having success within Canaway that they couldn't find in other places before?
Quite honestly, people are seeking this a tremendous amount. All it takes is to get out there and say something about what you're doing, and people go, "You're doing what?" And they just seek it. It's so cool. They want part of it. I've never experienced that in sales. Jeez, I usually have to go out there and be like, "Hey, do you want to buy this or whatever?" And it's like, "No, get away from me," and all this other stuff. Now I'm like, "Oh yeah, by the way, I see my cool hemp vape," and they say, "Where do I get one?" And I say, "Funny you ask." And so it's just a different sales pitch these days, And so, funny you ask, Hey, well, can I rub a little bit of that on your hands? Looks like your knuckles are a little dry there. Can I rub some of that on there? Yeah, all right, cool. And so, it's just one of those things. People seek it. Oh man, I'm not trying to just beat on the leadership here, but I mean, this has brought some sharp individuals together, Seth. It has brought some absolute.
It's intimidating, man. You're right. There's some seriously smart people around here.
And I'm sitting here talking to you?
It would be intimidating if they weren't so awesome, but every leader I've come in contact with, they're all smarter than all of us, and they're all awesome, so it puts us in a pretty good place.
Canaway did an amazing job just with getting some awesome leaders in the beginning who really wanted to do good, and so with the people who were pushing real hard in the very beginning, I've been in this since before there were rep numbers, and I know I've been pitching it since the very first day because I loved the idea. And I couldn't even sign up yet. I was hoping that I even was employed by the company, employed as an IVO or whatever at that point. I didn't even understand anything, nothing. I gave Ryan an email number and said, I'm in, and that was the end of it. People seek it, they seek it. I did. I know I did. I'm sure you did as well. Everyone has. These leaders are amazing, man. Just don't get left behind. That's all I can say to the people. I know there's probably only a few hundred people, like you said, watching, but don't get left behind. Don't let your people get left behind. Don't make this just some others. Bad taste in someone's mouth. It's not what it's about. This honeydew tastes great. The CBD is great. Just don't lose your vision. I talked about that, and I saw even on Facebook the other day. Live your dreams, but to do that, you got to wake up. Nothing changes until something changes. All these things we've been told, you guys. It's just common sense. You guys just get out there and talk about it. Just love it, live it. Hold yourself high, hold the product high. There's nothing like either one of you guys. There's two unique things. You don't have any competition. Yeah.
All right. So speaking of holding the product high, and this is another question I don't know the answer to. So I'm hoping you do have one. Do you have a smartphone, Josh?
I do.
Okay. would you mind doing a little bit of a live demonstration with the vape pen? And I want to get people starting to think this way. If you're not familiar with this, guys, the hemp vape pen, on the tip of it is actually a stylus that works on your iPhone, on your Android device. And
Yeah.
I want you to get used to using this on your device in public, because you would not believe how many people ask the question, what is that? I didn't know you could use one of those on your device. And then you pick it up and smoke out of it, and guess what? You got an enrollment. So I'm going to have Josh demonstrate with his vape pen on his smartphone, because mine's downstairs, so I'm not near it. That's why I'm kind of putting you on the spot. Josh, would you mind kind of showing us how the stylus works real quick?
Of course, man. Actually, Seth, what's funny, you met my fiance a little bit ago. She was sitting in my chair, but she she does that everywhere we go. It's not me who does that, but she everywhere is typing on her phone with this thing, and I laugh every time when someone does that. They literally are like, "What's she typing away with?" We were at the beach. I live in Florida now. We were at the beach today, all day today. I know it's a rough life, but blue water, green water, white sand. You know, volleyball all day. It's
Nightmare.
Florida.
Nightmare. Terrible.
Yeah, I miss Seattle a bunch though. Wink, wink.
Yeah, right.
So here's the deal. She will sit back, and I mean, I'm gonna make sure I can see that. It's just an
pretty good.
I mean, this is just the S3, you guys, Samsung S3, and I mean, obviously, we all know how to unlock an S3 if you have one, but just when you turn it on, you just swipe it to the side. I can do that with my stylus and other phones on.
That works. I saw it very clearly. Perfect.
Here's the messages. We just clicked in messages, but I'll click back. So that's back to the home screen, right? And then, so if I wanted to go into the phone and I wanted to call myself, for instance, you can see I'm just on the phone screen here. So if I was to call myself, I hope I'm under Josh. Am I under Josh? Thank God. So then here we go. That's me right there. See it? Now watch.
It says Honey Baby Boo Boo Bear. I don't know.
Yeah, don't start with me. Yeah. I was not going to pull it up if it was like the dude that I have to live with.
Awesome.
So it's calling me. I can hear my phone ringing back there, and so I'm just going to end the call with my stylus. So it's funny. We'll just sit around, you know, and I do a lot on my phone, and so we'll just sit around with the hemp vape, and we'll just touch away. And it works. I mean, you guys, this works as good as your finger, if not better, because my finger is a fat little finger. Look at this.
And how many, let's be honest here, in other companies, how many of your, and this is actually something Arthur Tubman said yesterday on the Hangout, and I loved it, so I'm gonna steal it. I'm totally stealing this from Arthur. But he said, how many of us are going to run around with a Health Shake packet and pour it at, you know, when you're sitting at a coffee shop or something, or how many of us are going to run around, you know, with whatever product it is? And that's what's so cool about this. And that's, when you hear the words lifestyle product, how does that specifically fit in with what we just talked about, Josh?
Man, I mean, everybody's a techie these days, you know, and so, I mean, as far as a lifestyle product, I've always talked about anything that'll kill two birds with one stone, I'm in. You know, I need, you know, it's something that, for time management alone, for me, if I can get two things accomplished with once, and again, I mean, I'm not trying to be weird, but I mean, smoke's on it, of course. Smells good. Honeydew tastes good, believe me, and then you just tap on your phone. Again, I don't do that. Yeah, so for her, she does it a tremendous amount. Lifestyle is something that means something different to me. Lifestyle product or whatever. I've sold a lot of products in my life. This is a middle class product. This is not a price point that is for the upper class, but it's something that it kills two birds with one stone, even 3, 4, 5 if we get into like what we're actually vaping, the CBDs. You know, and so this is something that kills 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 birds all with one stone. And so for me, you know, I understand the program. Again, Seth, I understand it. I mean, why the products are priced, why they are. The value that I get for it. I don't have a single, when somebody has an objection for me, there's nothing that they can cover that I can't cover back. And it's because I 100% believe in the product. I 100% understand how the products work. I have both the products in my hand every single day so I can show them off. It's just invaluable stuff. It's really important.
That's awesome. And, you know, I had an interesting experience that I've kind of told a little bit of the story with this before, but pretty fantastic member inside of Canaway is a gentleman by the name of Marshall German. He's a really fantastic guy, and he had a lady who was flying into Colorado, and he knew I lived here, so he gave me a buzz to see if I could meet up with her, and that was Nancy Banks, and she's an amazing, incredible leader. And she was supposed to be just her and one other lady, and I showed up to the hotel lobby, and there was she had brought 6 other ladies with her. A couple were already enrolled in Canaway, but the rest enrolled there on the spot after we all got done speaking. But here was the funny part, because we had the hemp vape there, and people were trying it and passing it around, that sort of thing. A couple other folks that were there for totally different reasons. It just happened to be walking through the lobby, and Nancy flags them down. They had a lot of interest in the product. They signed up right there. She had a computer. They ran their credit card. They were in, locked in right there. That's the power of this product, utilizing it in public, and that's the perception that that's why a big part of why I think this company is going to be so ridiculously successful, because everything they've done, everything they've created, is targeted to really draw a lot of interest. There's already enough interest around the hemp and cannabis industry. There's already a ton of news going on out there, and even with that, they've given us even more of a conversation starter, and that puts the wedge in there to start the conversation, and then it opens right up once people understand. But not only is this a vaporizer and people are used to seeing those now, mostly with tobacco products, which is something that is proven to be negative for you. And now instead it's something that is positive for you and creating some great benefits for people. Have you experienced a lot of conversation starters walking around and using it?
Oh, of course. Again, that comes back to Felicia. She just walks around with that product and shows everybody. She loves it. And so for us, we really have gotten a lot of good results from that. There's no way not to. It's so cool.
Is Felicia camera shy, or is she just not real keen on getting on? We'd love to meet her if Canaway Nation wants to say hi, Felicia.
Here's Felicia.
Hi, Felicia. Looking great.
She uses that hemp vape constantly. Tell them, babe.
It just died, so I was about to go plug it in. But yeah, I notice I'm trying it a lot just to see what it does, honestly, because there's been so much excitement about it, and especially in this household. And,
Go figure.
I'm very, very curious to see what it does, and I've been using it since I got it, and in the mornings I'll wake up. Yeah, the things it's done for me, it just makes me generally feel better. Like it makes me feel better. So. I don't know.
That's well put, and I can see some coaching from Josh, so that's awesome. Josh is doing with Felicia what all of us do with everybody within Canaway, which is we have a really awesome compliance department for those of you who are just new to the Canaway experience that kind of guides us through what we can and can't say about certain products. Sure. So oddly enough, you're watching it live and in person as Josh is telling Felicia.
I'll tell you exactly what I said too, Seth. I got no problem with that. What I said to her was just make sure not to make medical claims. That's the biggest thing. People don't need to hear it from us. They can go out there and research it themselves. Go out to mycbdresearch.com. Go out there and talk to your doctor about what CBD does. Don't and then just understand we sell the, really the CBD enriched product. That's really how you can break this down. Go research CBD. It's been around for a long time, been legal for a long time, and then we're selling the CBD enriched product that's hands down the best. The thing that I'm getting.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Josh.
No, it's okay. The thing I'm getting a lot of is about exclusivity right now.
That's a good question, and I'll answer that real quick after I bring up another example. Just so a lot of folks know. The question comes up over and over and over. How can this be legal in all 50 states? How can this be legal in all 50 states? And my answer to that is simply, have you ever walked into Walmart and seen something that has hemp seed oil there? Yep. It's already been legal in all 50 states for a very long time.
Now, hemp seeds, everything, they're all there. You can find it in Walmarts.
There you go. So those products have been around for a very long time. To the level of quality that we've had here, though, with Canaway, never been around. That's never been established anywhere. And the kind of effect, specifically the focus on CBD, it's been completely ignored for a very, very long time. So that's the positive of this. We have something that is 100% legal that people can get in almost any situation. Now, as far as exclusivity, to come back to your question, Josh, it's been an interesting thing because this product is not available through any other company. Both the products that are currently represented here, and then moving forward, as we get more and more products, those will be Canaway products. You won't be able to find them through any other channel. So we're not going to fight with the company that, come through this channel, buy through me, and don't buy it over at Bob's CBD shop, which doesn't exist. It's essentially, when you're working with a company, you don't want to fight the company for sales. You don't want to have to say, I buy it through me because I get wholesale rates, and then you find out the company is selling it even deeper wholesale cut rate prices over here. That's not going to happen here. We have an exclusivity arrangement with it, and that's a big part of why Canaway Nation is going to be very successful, because as people start to get that, that they start to see that they want this product every single day, then there's only going to be one place to purchase it, and that's through the independent business owners that are in Canaway.
Yeah, and again, this is an extreme opportunity for me, and I want to just thank people. I know we're probably winding up pretty close to being done or whatever, but this is something that whoever got you involved, you guys thank them, even if they don't have the information. They've led you on to. Yeah, kid, I'm from the West Coast. That gold rush. Everybody, go west, young man. Go west for that gold rush. Yeah, we're in the green rush of the 21st century, and you want to be involved early. You don't want to be involved late. Make sure and get your products. Make sure. And I'm not a product pitcher. I'm truly not. As far as this product, it's CBD enriched stuff. It's good for you. It's good for you. Make sure that even if you're not going to sell it, get out and be a customer of someone, and get that stuff in your life. It's going to do good for your skin and for your body.
Well, thank you so much, Josh, and thank you, Felicia, for coming on camera for a little bit. And I just want to say it really is incredible to see folks that are having some ridiculous success and the kind of things that they've done with their groups. Folks like Josh Dalzell. We have a ton of people out there that are doing amazing, incredible things. If you're not involved with Canaway yet, if this is your first Google Hangout with us, here's what we'd like to share with you. The important thing right now is to take some action now. If you were the very, very last person to enroll this month, you would be here way early before the real masses find out about this. We have 39,000 people that have jumped in. It's a drop in the bucket. We are going to go to ridiculous heights with this company, and you are here early, and we are excited to have you. So here's what you need to do. I want you to get with the person that brought you to this Google Hangout, and I need you to go to their website and get enrolled with them. That person then, after you're done doing that, I want you to turn around and give them a big kiss right on the lips, because they just did something really huge for you. They gave you a life-changing opportunity. Josh would verify that. I know he's seen it. He's experienced it. I've experienced it. Canaway Nation in general has experienced it. 39,000 people will agree with you that this is a life-changing opportunity and that it's time to embrace it and run with it. So after you get enrolled and locked in, now your opportunity is here to go and do what Josh has done, which is to go and share this with a few people that you really love and care about and help them to be successful. Notice how once Josh had his success, he said, enough of me, it's time to take care of you. And he's worked with his group on an individual basis to help them ensure their own success. That's what we want for you, and that's what's going to create long-term success within this, because you're going to have a group of people who understand the importance of this product. They're not going to quit because they love what they're dealing with, what they're putting in their body, what they're putting on their body. They're going to absolutely love the product, love the opportunity, and the chance here to really create a new life. We talk about Canaway being the company that has it's a movement with a pay plan. Pardon me, guys. I've been talking for all day long. This is an opportunity of a lifetime. We hope you'll embrace it, and we look forward to being able to work with you and the Canaway Nation team. And we'll have another wonderful hangout tomorrow night. I really want to encourage you guys to get to that one. Tomorrow night's hangout is all about Denver. We're doing a huge event in Denver, and you have got to be there. If you want to take this business seriously, if you really feel like you want to take this to the next level, people who go to events end up with serious, serious success. I know you have a testimony about that, Josh.
Oh man. Second time I went to California was actually with my parents and my aunts and everybody did. And I'm going to name drop this. It's not a problem. They actually were in Amway for a long time. A lot of people are, and I understand that company 100%. And so we went down to a seminar, believe it or not, and the guest speaker was Zig Ziglar. I didn't even know who he was. Saw this crazy man on stage just fire up 40,000 people or whatever, and I said, "What is this?" And from that day forward, then it was the Little Red Book of Selling, and it was all these stupid little things. All the Alexander books and Maxwell, John C. Maxwell's, and everything I could get my hands on, I've read since because of Zig Ziglar, and that literally, Amy, again, that comes out of me again. She said when she went to a convention, she went out and she actually doubled and tripled her sales in her normal sales job just because she was that fired up to just be motivated and go, go, go. You know what I mean? It's just something that when you walk out of there, it's mind-blowing. I didn't believe it until I saw it, you guys. I swear I did not believe it until I saw it, and now I will not miss one. There's no way I can. It's just so fun. Like, I had no idea how fun it was, Yeah, it's just fun.
And crucial to your success. When I first started network marketing for the very first time. And I'm not doing it right now, so please don't take my current attire as an example of this. But when I first started and I was working from home, I decided that every single day, and this went on for 2 years, I wore a suit and tie sitting at in my own living room with a real desk, real chair, set up as if I was in my office, because it forced my mindset to treat it like a job. Being here in Denver for that event is putting yourself through advanced training to ensure the success of your own job, because as an IBO, you're an independent business owner. Now you're the boss. How are you going to get the boss trained? You got to come to the training. So the event in Denver, and we're going to talk about it more tomorrow, so you need to be on tomorrow's Hangout, but that is so crucial to your success as an owner of your own business that we're not just admonishing you to be there. You have to be there. You have to be there. There are going to be 1,000 tickets for this. They are going to sell out. You're going to miss out if you don't be there, if you're not there. So we don't just admonish you. I'm really telling you, you got to be there if you really want to take this business seriously. So again, we're going to call to action. If this is your first time here on a Google Hangout, go get with the person that brought you to this Hangout. Go get enrolled with them, get locked in, become part of Canaway. Then get to work. Start learning about this product, about the compensation plan, the company, the history. Get dialed into the message behind Canaway, because it really is a movement that's changing people's lives. And then plan on joining us on April 19th in Denver. Join us for tomorrow's Hangout for more information on that. We'll give you a lot of details on how this is going to go down, because right now a lot of people are asking a lot of questions about, well, who's going to be there, where is the event being held, all that stuff. You're going to get it all tomorrow. Join us for that. We look forward to seeing everybody then. I want to thank our special guest, Josh Dalzell, and his girl, Felicia. And I say his girl because I'm not sure the exact specifics of that.
I asked her to marry me, and we're getting married May 1st of next year. Not this year, but next year, May 1st of 2015. So she's definitely my fiance.
Well, congratulations, and I'm really happy to see such a happy couple. So thank you guys for being on this evening. Appreciate it very much. And good night, Canaway Nation. We hope you all have a great night.
Thank you, guys.